Guadam, Guadam, Huisten, Huisten, Huasla, Huasla, Huanu, Huanu.
Let's take a closer look at rounded uvular sounds. So in a previous video, we talked about your uvula. So it's the piece of skin hanging down from the back of your throat. So the sounds are coming from way back in the very back of your throat, and they're rounded, as we saw in the rounded velars. We have a letter followed by a small rounded or small raised W, so that tells you it's a rounded sound. First we have G. This G has a bar over top of it, and it's followed by a raised W. And there's no English equivalent of this word. One word that you could use as a similar sound is actually in Spanish. So the Spanish word for water, agua. It's similar to this. The G and the bar and the raised W together. It's similar to that sound, but the G with the bar over top of it indicates it's a little bit deeper. We also have a Q with a W right after it. An English word you can use as something similar is quote, but the Q is a little bit of a deeper sound than, this is more like around a K, quote. So the Q is a little bit of a deeper sound because it's coming from the very back of your throat. We also have a Q with a raised W. So it's an even deeper sound than the regular Q, the regular rounded Q. So if a regular Q kind of makes a qu sound like in quote, the glottalized QW sounds a little bit deeper. Something like that. So it's a glottalized sound. And we also have XW. So it has a bar over top of it. So it's a deeper sound, and it's also rounded. And there's no English equivalent for this sound, but it's a little bit deeper than the regular XW. So if we have XW making a hua sound, the barred XW sounds more like hua, hua, something like that. Now let's take a closer look at rounded uvular sounds. So we're going to be using our uvula, which is this part of our vocal tract here, piece of skin hanging from the back of our throat. And they're rounded, meaning that we're also going to be using our lips to direct air out of our mouths. So the first letter we're going to take a look at, we have a G with the bar over top of it, followed by a raised W. So an example of this is the word guadam. Guadam means huckleberry. Next we have the letter Q followed by a small raised W. An example of this is Queaston. Queaston means rattle. Then we have a Q with an apostrophe over top of it, followed by a raised W. So this is the same as the Q with the raised W, but it's going to involve us closing our vocal cords. It's a glottal stop. And the word we can use as an example of this is kwasla. Which means forest. Kwasla. And we also have X with the bar over top of it, followed by the small W. As heard in the Geisler word genoeg. So here we can see we have two X's with a smaller bar followed by a raised W. So the X with a line over top of it means it's a little bit of a deeper sound. Genoeg. It's very subtle. But if you listen closely to a Geisler speaker, you'll hear that little bit of a deeper sound and then a sound at the very end. So those are rounded uvular sounds.